Good morning again, Jess. It has been so long since I have seen you, Jess. Can I say, I love those glasses. You look so clever with those glasses on.
Well, Tara, you got to fake it till you make it, don't you?
I need me some glasses, mate. Unbelievable. So, Jess, you're fantastic. I'm through. Oh, all my friends are here. This is terribly exciting. Ruth is in. My heart, my soul, my brains is in this woman's body. Good on you, Ruth. How are you, darling?
Good. How are you?
Good, fine. Good, fine.
How are you, Jess? After last week?
I've recovered. And I was just saying how I'm sort of glad it happened because it means I can, yeah, I can switch my research a bit into something that I really, really wanted to do. But I've just got to advocate for myself now. And maybe this paper will help me do that and say, look, someone else has already done it. Can we just go back to this original idea that, yeah, looked really hard, but now I think we can do it. Yeah.
What's that old cliche? When a door closes, a window opens.
Oh, I'd much prefer to climb through windows.
Me too.
Probably when a door closes, open it again. That's the way they work.
Yeah, mine never do because I sort of, when I'm so tired these days, I actually accidentally locked myself out of one of my rooms in this shared accommodation last night. I'm that tired. Oh, okay, unbelievable. Colleagues, I'm thrilled to see you all. Welcome to Western Australia. Hello, gorgeous Emma. Hello, Mary. The great state of Western Australia. We're thrilled to have you with us. Damien, the legendary human, is with us. Good morning, Damien. Oh,
morning. Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button.
Wonderful to see you. You're so famous. And good evening from New York City, the lovely Susan. I've seen Susan twice this week. Good evening, Susan.
Good evening, Tara. Good evening, everybody. It's nice to see you again.
We are all so thrilled to see you. So colleagues are in. We've got the wonderful Sue in. We've got Bess in. Paul in the middle of the night is joining us from the shed, the magnificent, classy shed. So colleagues, let's do this. You are all doing incredible work. 29 minutes. Let's do something magnificent. Dina, love you. Thank you for the emails. I want to be you. Write well. Give me that literature review. See you in 29. last minute, colleagues. And we are done. Yes. Yes. I'm going to start with Paul, though he's still in the zone. Should I?
Hello.
Hello. Should I not start with you? Gee, you were intense in that one, brother. What were you working on, mate?
Because I need a bit more deviation from my epic workload as we come to the end of this half of the semester, I'm writing up some bits that I've done around, what we spoke about around podcasting and pedagogical uses of podcasting, and the stuff I'm doing as a supervisor for an education development program at our university. So for EdDev, I'm putting together this stuff around the reflective practice and how we can best use that through podcasting as an educational technologist and development thing for the university to take forward. So in the realm I'm looking at is literature and things that support the idea that through undergrad dissertation supervision, we can do podcasts in a way of using that as a reflective process for the students to understand and move forward their use of literature and critical understanding. So I'm kind of putting something together to talk at a seminar or a conference run by our university for the EdDev lot.
Well, that's just unbelievable. I want to be you. I want to be you. That is.
I don't think you do.
I do, mate, I do. And look, colleagues, just so you know, for our colleagues in the UK, and I'll go straight to Liam now because it's right in the middle of the night. And I remember December in the United Kingdom when you're at this stage of the semester and you don't know your own name. So we call him Liam. Liam, what are you writing on at the moment, mate, in the middle of the night?
Well, as Kate Bush said, December will be magic again. Maybe not in UK higher education.
Oh, mate.
I'm writing that article that I last came to Write Club with. I've made some significant traction on it for the edited collection. It's due in on the 24th of January. So my co-author is not actually able to write much at the moment on the article because she's not got any kind of research in her job. Unfortunately, she's 100% teaching. So she's not able to make any kind of time for it. So I'm just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until we get something solid. So I'm halfway done in terms of the writing, and we'll see what happens. Maybe this will be my last hurrah, who knows?
It won't be, because we will walk with you forever for the rest of your life, Liam. Hang in there, sweetheart. And you're doing an amazing job. You're caring for your co-author. That's a wonderful thing to do. Swings and roundabouts, Liam. You're a decent, ethical human. That will return to you. And Liam, we absolutely love and support you, Liam. I'm not going anywhere. This is not your last piece. This is the first of hundreds of pieces, Liam. We got you, mate. We got you.
Yeah, I just don't know. It spills on from the other conversation. I know this is probably a different space. But yeah, I'll probably speak about that in office hours another time.
Bless you, darling. Look, but can you also off-piste have a chat with me too, okay? You're the best, brother. We absolutely adore you. And who else we adore is Queen Kylie, the Red Queen herself. Now, you were quite focused in that one. So what were you doing, Coles? Sound.
Get the little microphone down. Technology, it's great, isn't it? Playing around in my Excel spreadsheet again, which I hate. But looking at themes from the data that I got trying to get the data that I got off the local government association people and looking for themes with what I've got and what didn't come back from local governments, because that could be taken that they don't have the asset management knowledge and things are out of date. So yeah, living the dream.
You and your spreadsheets, though,
Oh, I hate them.
but our themes, we'll use the thematic analysis, is the cream rising to the top, Kyles?
Yes, it's clearly showing there's a lot of regional and rural councils that are having trouble with either getting asset management plan type things in place or keeping them up to date. So that therefore could have that linkage that they need that support to have that knowledge in the local area.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Worth doing, mate. Worth doing. You legendary human. And look who else is on this wonderful call. Saji is with us. Mate, how are you? I had the privilege of reading your thesis last weekend. Changed my life. You are a wonderful scholar. Good morning. What were you writing on, sir?
Morning. Thank you for your help. And I read your comments, and it's the first time, I received feedback on my dissertation notes. I've been in my own cave. Yeah, and I'm using that, and I stopped writing my first paper, and I read all of the comments, and because I think I was stuck around preparing raw data, and I needed to be more precise. And now I'm reading all of the papers working on women weightlifters and just trying to take notes of all of these variables to find the gaps and to be more precise, because before that I was just focusing on the whole topic of the dissertation, but at this stage, and I need to be more specific, and I use your comments, and now I'm just it takes time. It's very time consuming to take notes, to write down all of these details, but it's good. I feel that I'm just I'm getting better in writing.
You're wonderful. Sajid, you're a wonderful writer, and what you're doing is amazing. Can I say it's, and you're a brilliant human. I loved every minute of reading your work last weekend. It just made my weekend. But what I'd say to you, mate, is what you're doing is tough, because what is the SOC? What is your significant original contribution to knowledge? That's hard, mate, because you've got all this data. Sports science is like that. You've got amazing data. The work you're doing, the arc's phenomenal. And then it's asking you to just take a breath, have a cup of coffee, and say, right, well, why does it matter? What does all this data mean to how we think about effective, strong, successful weightlifting? And that's just brilliant. But that's hard to do, mate. That's deep thinking, right?
Yeah, thank you so much for your help. It was my first time. Oh, I said that, okay, now I feel that I have a supervisor.
You do, and I'm excited. No, mate, I'm absolutely thrilled. And look, as Jamie knows, I was sort of talking about when we had our conversation on Sunday afternoon, I was filled with excitement about your thesis. And he was explaining to me a whole series of Newton laws to be of assistance to your data set as well, mate. So it's really exciting.
Thank you so much. Before that, I usually just my colleagues and my co-authors from around the world, they help me to finish a paper, but now I have to do it by myself. So I needed somebody to help me to keep my balance. Sometimes you're spending time on preparing data collection, especially when you're working the big data set. But now it's time to change my mindset, and I mean to be more precise, to just finish it, to nail it. And I'm so grateful.
Yes, you so have a supervisor now. You have a really, really active, excited supervisor. Fantastic. You're a legend, mate. Good on you. To the legendary,
Thank you.
oh, you're a star, mate. Now, Damien, mate, where are we on that? Are we still on that paper with the Media International Australia? Where are we on that paper?
That was submitted on Monday.
Oh, yes. Well
So
done.
now I'm playing the waiting game, which I assume will be mid next year, who knows. Today was my production chapter for my thesis, which is all about 2011 to 2021 as a transitional period for Australian television and how production changed in relation to gender and sexually diverse characters. And I guess was a surprise to me as I kind of analyzed my data, is like a lot of my chapter focuses on ideas of intersectionality and colorblind versus color conscious approaches to intersectionality, and that kind of charts this period, because I speak to people who worked right throughout it, where they would go in with these very well-meaning ideas of, oh, we don't care who plays this role, we're like open to anyone from any ethnicity or cultural group, and an industry not ready to respond in that way, but also shallow characters that if you were to cast, somebody from an Indigenous background in this character would not be fully realized. And so the kind of realization they went through that period, and then the impact that had on actual sets, because suddenly you're bringing in diverse people, and by the end of the period, transgender people into sets that were predominantly white, cis, masculine, very sort of hostile spaces, and an industry that had to then respond iteratively to that, and doesn't until after this period is done. They're only responding now.
Right. Whenever I listen to Damien, I'm a lot smarter at the end of that conversation. I don't know about anybody else. Damien, that's breathtaking work. That is really good stuff, mate.
I just need to get what I just said into a cohesive statement.
And that's why it's recorded.
Yeah.
Superstar. Well done, Damien. And look, let's enter the West Australian chapter of Right Club. Good morning, Mary. Mary, tell us fabulous things. How are you going? What are you writing on, Queen Mary?
I've decided that Friday mornings, one thing, you need to have a bunch of things you do, right? So I am writing in the morning background history for my thesis, master's thesis, and probably my PhD as well. But I am doing readings, but not enough. And I'm also not really doing a lot of writing up of the readings I've done and putting them into context and paraphrasing and stuff like that. So I've watched a few of your videos on that, and I've decided Friday mornings is going to be about writing up my readings that I'm doing. I've put them into I've got about 14 different topics I feel I need to have broad readings on for my research, and so I'm doing one which is settler colonial theory at the moment.
Brilliant. Oh, I think that's great, Mary. And honestly, your project is so big. I understand why on a daily basis you'd be saying, where am I? Where am I in this project? So I think what you're doing on Friday mornings, this is the reading I've done this week. Let's write that up. I think that's brilliant, Mary. You superstar. Well done, you. And look, we'll stay in the great state of Western Australia, the People's Republic of Western Australia. Good morning, Emma. Good early morning, Emma. Now, what were you working on, Queen Emma?
There's an evaluation report that the international development has been published on a website, and now I'm trying to transform it into something for a peer-reviewed journal, which means kind of rethinking, and every time I write, I think, no, this isn't abstract enough, but the topic is what happens when international development organizations fund big consortia, what happens to their capacity to be accountable to children and communities when there are these big things that are accountable to a donor. And in doing it, we found that there are also impacts on the small local organizations that get sucked up into those consortia. So I'm trying to write that up, but write it up in an abstract, peer-reviewed journal fashion.
Oh, look, I'm interested in that. I know Damien is as well. That's quite challenging, moving affordances like that, moving the audiences. I'll be thrilled to see how you go with that, Emma. That's hard yakka. That's hard work to do. Can I say I'm in awe of you, because I've certainly never managed that. I've never quite managed that translation effectively. So Emma, you will lead the way for us. Good on you, mate. Should we go to my arch nemesis, the person that I want to be and just ignores me? Good morning, Ruth.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, my darling. What were you writing on, sweetness?
So I had some responses to my ethics application. So I was just working on the responses to those.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it was mostly fine. A few good points, a few things that I agreed with, but you know, it'll take a little bit of time to resolve. But yeah, mostly fine. So I was pretty happy with that.
You are a superstar. Well done, Ruth. Did you see Jess's face when you went ethics and I had to make some changes? And I believe Jess did this. Well done, Ruth. You're a superstar. And let's go
Thank you.
Let's go to your first respondent, Jess. Talk to me.
Oh, congratulations, Ruth, on getting the ethics in, and like just being at that stage. That's so cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm still at the stage where I've got a million ideas, and I'm just hoping that this next one is the one that I run with, because yeah. So I've spent that session going back over my supervisory notes and just sort of pulling together what I know. And then applying it to this article I found last week.
Okay.
And how it relates and how I can then launch that forward into new areas, into a new space into a new approach.
Yeah. Babe, you just got to control it. You've just got to control it. I am worried, and I can see Jamie's worried as well. We're worried, but the thing is, write what you're doing. If it helps, write what you're not doing. Write those on bits of paper too, and just get the frame as tight as you can for us, Jess.
Okay.
See, it's so hard on you, sweetheart, because you've gone through your COC. So that's why I'm just right. But we're with you, Jess. Let's hammer out that one page. Work out what you're not doing. All right.
Okay, I can do that.
I know you can do that. I know you can do that. Let's go to Josh. You can do just about anything. The glamour that is Josh. So Josh, what were you writing on, Josh? I'm excited.
I took the chance to do an article that came through for peer review. So it's just a subtle piece, and it was a real pleasure. It's only minor revisions from me. So yeah, it was nice. Nice to be nice.
Not reviewer too. And what was the focus of Sodal? What discipline was it, Josh?
I don't want to talk too much detail, but it was it had a couple of different courses, and it was to do with sessional academics and training capabilities for them. So yeah, quite juicy sort of precariat stuff.
Oh, I'm so interested in that. Yeah, sorry, Josh. I live vicariously through you. So every now and again, I forget that we're different people. So I'm so sorry. So Josh, fantastic. And thank you for doing that work. It's important and a blessing. So you're a superstar. And should we check in with our Bess? Bess, how has the week back been for you? What are you writing on now, Queen Bess?
Well, I had a meeting with both of my supervisors. I actually met the second one for the first time yesterday. She's lovely. And I just need to get writing. They're very impressed with the amount of material I came back with, and you know, the permission letters and everything else. But I've got to get this confirmation of candidature done now. So intro, lit review, and a chapter for that. Any chapter will do, whichever's the most polished at this stage. So
Yep.
as probably the Crystal Palace thing, and about 7,000 to 8,000 words. And I'm back to I hate literature reviews, and today was spent trying in Write Club was spent just trying to articulate my contribution to scholarship onto a page, and I don't think I can get it down to a sentence. She said a sentence. It's like...
Angel, started as a page. Start with the mattering. So Bess, why does, and Saji, mate, this might be useful for you too. Start with the mattering, why the research matters, and that might be a page, and then quietly get the page down to a paragraph, and then suddenly the mattering will be the sock.
Okay.
But write long. What was the old line? Write long, edit short.
Yep. Okay. I just think I've got to get over the freeze from the last few months.
Yeah, just darling, let it go. Let it go. You know, do the song Frozen. Let it go.
Yep.
Oh, I knocked him. Yeah, so you gotta let it go. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. Today.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Listen to Cicero. Cicero's great track, Live for Today. Find that after Right Club, Bess.
Right, Cicero, live for today.
Live for
Okay.
today, right? Full acid house. Those of you that are acid house people, full acid house. You will be ready to kill somebody at the conclusion of that track, right? That is a big track. That's a mega track. Good on you, Bess. You're precious. And speaking of mega, should we go to our favorite person, the legendary Susan? Susan, superstar, welcome from New York City. Good evening to you. What were you writing on?
Excuse me. Thank you. Good evening. I found a data set for the research that I want to do. It's a public data set.
Oh, yes.
And it's open access. So what I was writing was a plan for how to use it. You know, instead of just plunging into it, and just, throwing, I'm going to do that anyway, just to play with it. But I thought I'd write up a plan for how I'm going to use it and why I'm going to use it and what the shortcomings will be of using it. So that's what I was working on.
Now, Susan, you're a genius. In Australia, they've just implemented that every high degree student really has to have a data collection and data management plan right at the start of a thesis. And that's new, but I tell you what, it's fantastic and so important. So when you start to speak that, that's some of the most important work you'll ever do. So you are brilliant, Susan, brilliant. Oh, thank you. I know you really are, you superstar. Well done, you. Should we go to we'll just stay in the Sue zone. Our favorite person, Sue Charlton, is with us. Sue, hello, my darling. Can you demute? Because I'd love to hear what havoc you're currently creating.
Hi, nice to speak to you. I was working on a piece that I found that I'd written a while ago, which I called at the time, Why Should I Care? And it's about the baby's hips again, of course. And I was just, I've read a lot more about the embryology and the development embryologically of the hip, and stuff that's been written quite recently, but hasn't been stuff that I'd read before. And so I'm adding some stuff to that, which brings up exactly why I'm saying we need to do it so early. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to resubmit that article and get it published this time. I'm not sure whether I'll try for the regional health journal, or whether I'll go somewhere else. And I've also been looking at doing a smaller version of it for a child parent magazine.
Right.
To make it more socially acceptable to all the mothers and children, and they'll start asking for it too.
Oh, Sue, that's phenomenal. And if you want to throw it to your old supervisor for a read, you do that, Sue, both versions. I think that'll be fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your help.
Always and forever. So, Sue, you're the best. Let's get that. Let's try and nail that before the end of this year, Sue. Let's go for that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And of course, let's go, ironically, from Sue to Doug. Those of you that don't know, of course, Sue cared for Doug when he was a little fella and looked after his hips in Mount Gambier. So, Doug, what were you writing?
Not hips, feet.
Oh, feet. Oh, it was feet. Oh, it was lower.
Yes. Yeah, I was just reading up on note-taking, which I have to get under my hat. And also looking at that last email from my other supervisor, potential person, and trying to get my head around that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. We'll talk it through, Dougster. But you keep working. I agree with the great work Gay is doing for you on thinking through note taking. I think that's great.
Yeah, so I sort of understand most of it, so I just got to put it into practice. So I'm either too lazy or otherwise
No, you're not too lazy. You're just very focused, and that's brilliant. So Kylie, straight in. Talk to us, Kylie.
Doug, no, you're not lazy. The best. Oh, you got me this time?
We got you. We got you.
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, the best of us, very organized people that we normally are really bad at organizing our note taking. So I'll hold my hand up for that. But we're all sort of thinking, I'm sure what I'm thinking is that there's some really good blogs from somebody that we might know, and I don't know which way to do the Brady Bunch thing. You go through that. She does a really good job. That's sort of getting me back on the track with note taking and how to save it. So that way, yeah.
Yeah, that way for me.
That way.
I'm so confused. Fantastic, but thank you, Kyles. No, but we'll sort that out, Doug. No stress. You're doing so well. We're proud of you. We've got 3 to go if I can get round. So the wonderful Gay, talk to a superstar. Yay.
I am trying to write up my individual life stories of my soldiers, and the military records are driving me crazy.
They're hard. They're hard, mate. They're hard.
There's so many different iterations of forms that don't have the same information, and then they have different numbers, and then they have an enlistment date on one page which is different to the next page, and it's
Look, it is. It is. I find that very difficult work. The historians in the family, Mary and I, are looking at you with much joy, much hope, and much happiness, and understanding your pain. Good on you, Gay, but it's important work, mate, if you can get it right. So you're legendary, mate. Well done. And we hurtle to the wonderful Jelly, my love. How are you, superstar? You gorgeous woman in coral. What were you writing on, my queen?
So I was writing on listening in community and engaging in community, and how that looks different on social media. So, for example, when we gather together in community in person, whether we give permission to the people around us to be able to hear what we're saying, and if you look in one direction and they sort of hide or look away, and how that sort of looks different on social media. For example, is it okay to comment on a comment that someone gives to an original post? Is that sort of crossing lines? If this, you know what I mean? You don't understand the relationship between these two people. Is it okay to comment? And at the same time, an awareness that, of course, this is a public sphere. And if they want to PM, they can do that, just like in person. 2 people can step away so they're out of ear range of other people. So yeah, still in the listening space.
Oh, can I say, Damien? Look at Damien's face. Damien, your face is exactly how I feel about that conversation. And can I say, I really feel that, Jelly, because recently people have sort of tagged me in stuff, and like involving Elsevier journals. Involving Elsevier journals, and I've been tagged, and I sort of feel like I haven't had permission, you know, and so do you remove the tag, which just feels like, you know, you just grab someone by the throat and go, bin for you. But, you know, that space is exactly what you've captured there.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, that's actually came out of a situation where I was at a communal table, and on one side, shoulder to shoulder, was my daughter. And the person beside her was engaging her in conversation about her siblings. And I had been introduced as her mother, but I was not invited into the conversation, which was incredibly weird. And then I looked in the other direction, and every time I looked, they appeared to be having a private public conversation. So every time I looked, they would sort of look at me, and I thought, okay, I can't look there either. And so, but we were in a community shared space, so it was incredibly weird. So, and then taking that into social media. So yeah,
I think it's brilliant. Can I say it's also profoundly offensive that the actual mother, the person whose birth canal was involved in the sibling creation, was excluded from the conversation, is unbelievable to me.
It was weird, yes.
Yeah,
but every time I looked, I sort of get the sense of, okay, you're not part of this conversation. So actually, it was as simple as she missed the part where I was introduced as the mother, and suddenly, why is the stranger looking at me? You know, so that could be that simple. Yeah.
Yes, so you're a nice person, whereas I probably would have used that as fighting words. But that's just me. Kylie knows I'll end up in the car park on any particular day having a scraggy. So good on you. And because that's why I'm loving Sajid's work, right? Because his research is explaining to me how to do it with efficiency. Good on you, my darling. And look, we finish with the finisher who sent me the most magnificent messages. I think I'm 54 and I've never read such beautiful messages in my life. Dina, you are my heart. Finish us off because she's nearly finished, Kyles. Go, Dina.
So I submitted to you the draft thesis. So the discussion chapter, which took the longest to write, is done. So I'm very glad. So I'm moving on. Thank you. So I'm moving on to the literature review because my supervisor asked me to do that, the last part. So that's what I just opened the file and read through the draft that I have. Could I also share probably something that could motivate us? So for what I noticed for my draft discussion chapter is that the data that emerge highlights the simple things in life that probably we took for granted. For example, my research question is, why are the KSB, the organization that I'm researching, is still sustaining, although they are volunteers and they face like death risk in doing disaster response activities. And one of the answer that emerged from the data is that they have shared values. And the shared values is including the happiness that they feel when they help the affected victim, help other KSBs, and help the community. So I went on a focus group with this village, a very rural village. It's a small village, and the people that came to the FGD are all men, and they're in the old stages. And one of the head of the KSB, he came with a very interesting quote. He said that we name our headquarters the happiness post. So when we go to our headquarters, it will have to be filled with happy thoughts, no stress, because we need happy thought to overcome the challenges that we face in doing the disaster relief. And he said that, but also we're a bunch of crazy people because when we did the response in the COVID pandemic, we had the phone call and everybody rushed to the headquarters to help the people who were infected by COVID. And I asked, well, did your members be victim of COVID themselves? And he said, I don't know whether he's serious or not, but it was like a jokingly manner. He said, oh no, we only had a bit of flu, we drink vitamins, and that's all. So he said that we have to toughen up because our neighboring village is scared to do a response. So that is how we deal with difficult situation, is because we have this happiness that is resulted in us helping each other. So, and then he said, that is also why I'm thankful to have all of these crazy people with me, because it turns out they're immune from the disease. So for me, those small stories are touching, and it kind of pulled me back, because I was working in the policy back in Indonesia. I was working in the policy, which is very high, because I negotiate with the ministers, the director generals, but when I come to these villages, it reminds me of the sense of commonality, the sense of happiness on the small things in life. So that's what I found in my thesis, one of the findings.
Dina, darling, and you saw Damien's face. Damien and I have taken all of that incredibly personally that you've said, and we're applying that in our lives. So you've given us so much happiness. And Dina, just as we finish off, would you like to tell everybody how many thousands of words you've written since you've joined Write Club?
So for 5 months, it's now 75,000. So I need to restrict it now because I only have 25,000 for the literature review, conclusion, and the bibliography.
So, Dina, you are spectacular. You create our happy place and you remind us about what courage and grit can provide. So, colleagues, thank you for sharing your happiness with me. You make me happy. You let me get on with my Friday afternoon and my weekend. Thank you all for your time. Blessings to you. See you all next Friday. Much love. Good on you, Saji. Good on you, mate. You're a legend.